Hi, welcome to this week's Fundraising Friday. This week, we're talking about capital campaigns and how you can pay for the additional costs of running a campaign. If you watched the last video about what is a capital campaign, you know that it is a focused effort on the development staff and of your donors on a particular project that often falls well beyond the scope of what you would raise in a given year. So if you typically raise maybe $100,000 in development work in a year, with a capital campaign, you might be asked to raise a million or 2 million. That's going to take some resources. It might take more people. It might take a more sophisticated database. It might take some marketing, might take some travel, and some dinners or lunches or coffees with your donors that you don't usually have and don't usually have budgeted. You've got to remember the old adage that it takes money to raise money. And so to have a successful capital campaign, you do need to invest those resources in order to have that kind of success. So how much should a capital campaign cost? Rule of thumb, about 5 to 10% of your total amount raised, you should invest back in the capital campaign. Now, whether it's 5 or whether it's 10 or falls somewhere in between really depends upon the sophistication of your fundraising operation currently. If you are a small staff of one who is doing development and marketing and some other things. So at best, you're spending half of your time on development. You probably are going to need to invest in some more infrastructure, including staff, and that may push you more toward the 10%. If you have a very sophisticated development operation and you just maybe need some more marketing materials, maybe you need a consultant, maybe you need, a staff person to fill in here or there, then maybe you'd be closer to 5. Now, how can you get that money? Where does it come from? The easiest thing to do is to wrap it into the cost of the campaign. So if you're running $1 million campaign and you've got about 10% in fund development costs, that makes it a $1.1 million campaign. And that's what you take out to the public and that's what you raise money for. It may sound like a lot of money, but the reality is the difference between raising a million and 1.1, really not a big difference. That's this week's Fundraising Friday. Thanks. Have a great weekend.